good morning. This is Saturday morning, the 9th. I did my first full firing and included the Randy's Red pieces that I did all the glaze tests on, which you saw in another video just recently. But this is the first time I used it in the new firing schedule that I developed in that test kiln. So it worked. I'm amazed because I've been trying for this for a long time and was always disappointed. I always fired up to 2205 and did a short soak and then soaked at 1750 for an hour. And it never got red. But all I've done is raise the firing temperature to 2232, going up at 108 degrees an hour from 2000 to 2232. Soak 11 minutes. Fast drop to 1750, soak for 1 hour, and it's worked. So I wasn't firing hot enough. And I looked at my cone chart. I'm sure everybody has one of these. This is so old it's falling apart. But it actually does say cone 6 is 2232, if you can see it on there. But so I just was I've been firing at cone 5, 5.5. Thinking that it was cone 6, and I never put cones in this thing. I do in my gas kiln, but in the gas kiln, cone 6 always goes over at about 2205, 2210. So I don't know. That's the miracle and magic of firing with cones. Gives you a much more accurate result of what your glaze is doing. So I was going on what my gas kiln did: 2205, 2210. Cone 6 goes over and it melts completely over. I was thinking the same for this kiln, but there's something different when you fire electric to gas on there. I don't know what it is. Anyway, I have a bunch of pieces in here that are other glazes that I was hoping would still work. I mentioned to Freddie, who subscribes, that I thought my blue would blister and bubble because I just raised up from 2205 to 2232, and this hasn't. It actually stayed. This is a very gloss crystal blue glaze. It's a bird bath, and so I have a stand for this, which is over there. I'm going to fire next, so that's really good news. You know, it's actually. Let's put that one over there. But the Randy's Red still went red. I wonder if my light's good in here. This is a different area and the light's not as good here, but you've got the red in there. It's a little browner, but it's red on this side and a little browner on that side. So where the element side is, let's see, what does it go, brown or red? This one's red this side and brown near the element. You'd think the element would get hotter, but there's the thing: inside a bowl in the tests it was always red and outside would be less red. So the side that's away from the element has got the red in it, the side near the element is still brown. So is it just getting hotter on the inside of the shelf rather than right next to the element? You would think it would be the other way around and all that, but so we've got red on one side and brown on the other side. This is a really nice mug. Alright, so it worked really good. And I did that green on the bottom that I showed in my glaze test and the last one, fire on stilts. But and so where it overlaps the brown, you get that bluey black showing up, and that's nice. These are the T-balls: brown near the element, red away from the element. So you got a nice, but it's red on the inside. Still something to learn here. I actually fired up to 2245 and 2250 in the test kilns and it went much redder. So I feel like this kiln has to be raised now, and the next firing with the red, I'm going to fire it even higher. This one I did an iron oxide splash on the outside of the piece. It's red on this side and you can see where the iron oxide, I wanted to see what the iron did if I put it on. I thought it might go even redder, but it doesn't. It stays sort of black metallic. But it's nice to have the varying look of these. A lot of mugs in this, but the goal was to try and get the red And I think what we did was we got some red back to brown. So the 2232 is not hot enough. Red on this side, brown on that side. So I'm going to have to go, is there any pinholes? These all have strontium crystal magic on the top as well with the actual oatmeal that I do. So which is why you're getting all those runs coming down. Same, I put the iron on these ones as well. I won't do the iron on the next batch. Yeah, they're really red on the inside. There's the stilts, and you can usually just pull them right off. So it's sort of a tall mug with a strontium crystal magic making the runs. That's what does the run. Yeah, the running was a lot. It's interesting because as potters, I don't know why we love these iron glazes. And retail-wise, brown doesn't sell very well. The blues and turquoises, the greens all sell better than the brown. But we just seem to be attracted to this earth color. I think it is. But the dribbles will make these sell. This running is really pretty. Get these in there. You know, I told you in another video, everything should be on wheels so it's easy to move around. Try and put anything you have in your studio that you use a lot on wheels if it needs to be in different places. These are the shelves, the advancer shelves. If you ever have a run, it just comes right off. Oh well, here we go. I inspected this. The tea bowls red on the inside, and they were more brown on the outside. In test kiln, I raised the temperature; it was red everywhere. This is a low fire for this cone 6. Cone 2232 is still, I think, right at what it says cone 6. But when I went to 2250, you got more red. But on the inside of the bowls, it was red on the inside. You got some red on the outside. Strontium crystal magic ran a lot. This is the speckle clay, so it does control that running a little bit. But look at that. Strontium crystal magic on the top rim with the oatmeal. And I did an iron splash on these as well on the inside, but that's red. That's a beautiful bowl. So the inside forms are getting the red. So it's this we got to figure out. Look at that. That's what I call red. Look at my sweater. It's close. I mean, basically, really red. And on the outside, a little red closer to the inside. And on where it's near the element, it was brown. So I wonder why that is. It must be radiating heat. You get radiated heat. It gets hotter in the center of the kiln than the outer edge. Now I decided I would try a couple of teapots, even though there's so much work in a teapot, you don't want to ruin it. Yeah, it's still brown on the outside, but red on the inside. Alright, so nice little teapot. This is on order, actually, that's why I did it. But she wanted blue, but I wanted to make a brown one just to show her. But like the brown Betty teapots, basically. But you've got the red. And this was fired on stilts. So I got to grind off the 3 notches. And I fired the lids so I can get glaze all the way down with a stilt on the inside, and that holds it up in the kiln. So, and then you just have to pull the stilt out. If you glaze thickly, you will have trouble getting the stilt out, so don't glaze too thickly. Yeah, you got the red. And then near the elements, it's brown. So it's like two different teapots, basically. But I know now I've just got to raise the firing temperature. There you go. That's a nice teapot too. Couple more tea bowls. And this running was really good. I'm going to add some white glaze to the rim. see if I can lighten those runs and really make them show up a lot more. They're nice. I mean, the picture doesn't show them up probably. So the teapots are fired on the big stilts. I mean, I think the grinding isn't such a big deal at the end of the firing. It's just a little hand drill with a grinder on the bit on the end. And it does take long at all. I think it takes just a bit longer to wipe the glaze off the bottom. If you're going to do it. This is nice. I decided to do some carving and just kind of do some tree pieces. Randy's red on the bottom, running down big time. Look at those, wow. Imagine this on the B-mix. I think this would have run right off the pot. I'm going to do some B-mix. I just did a whole bunch of 34 T-poles. So I'm going to do some Randy's red tests on that clay. Oh, this one. Yep, this one did run down. So here you go. There's your classic. So this Strontium Crystal Magic, this is a garden pot now. Strontium Crystal Magic basically makes the glazes run a lot more. But it's a nice pot, but I can sit that in my garden and have a flower pot inside it, and then basically it'll look pretty in the garden. We have a studio garden right next to the this building. And the bottom shelf in this kiln is your traditional corduroy shelf. So if I'd fired that onto the advancer shelves, it wouldn't have stuck. So that's why I say these, you know, that's a $90 pot, probably 120 actually, but and it's broken because it was sitting on a regular shelf. If you buy the advancer shelves, it would have just lifted right off, and I would have had to grind the bottom off a little bit. This one didn't run as much. I wonder what the difference was. I think I glazed Strontium Crystal Magic on the other one all the way down, and that's why it ran a lot more. On this one I just did a little bit at the top. But so anyway, that's your beware of Strontium Crystal Magic. And I am probably going to buy a couple more advancer shelves. This was just a joke. We made all these T-balls, and I just thought, okay, let's make a giant T-ball. So it's almost like I'm holding it right at the thing, but this is a giant T-ball. Okay, well, just a joke. But I kind of wanted to do it. I'm going to use it probably as a salad bowl. And this is recycled clay, so for the tests that go even hotter, I can't use this clay body because it actually has a little earthenware mixed in. I recycle everything together. And this one's beginning to get a little bloating showing up. So definitely can't, if I'm going to raise the firing temperature to 22, 40, 45, then I'm going to have to just use B-mix straight or the speckle straight, clay straight. Anything else? Just one more T-ball. And there's all the runs on these. But I only glazed Strontium Crystal Magic up here, you know, on the upper part just there. So basically, you know, beware of it. But it does enhance glazes. So quick video, just wanted to show you the result of it. So no total disasters, one lost pot. And it wasn't the Randy's Red, it was the Strontium Crystal Magic again, because I got too brave, glazing most of the way down. Alright, thanks for joining me, Vaughan Smith in Westco Bell Pottery in Nova Scotia. It's cold here, but this week is finally turning like winter, so our highs are going to be like -3 centigrade, so about 24 degrees Fahrenheit. You know, winter's here. Alright, it will be gone soon. Bye.